I have a sudden craving for ribs. Is that normal? Heads up, readers. This Readus Reacts contains possible spoilers for Phase 4 of the MCU. Now, I know what you're thinking. But LaRon, we won't know anything about Phase 4 until after Spider-Man Far From Home is released. Kevin Feige said so himself. How could you possibly know anything about the next phase of Marvel movies that we don't already know? Well, readers, that's because a lot of news sources have recently discovered a series of posts from a month-old Reddit thread from a quote-unquote reliable source that gives plot details to not only the Phase 4 MCU titles we know are coming out, but also the plan Marvel Studios has for its 5-year plan we've been hearing about. Now, while I do admit that I found a lot of the info pretty interesting after reading it myself, I do have to note that unless I confirm it with anything previously said by the people making the fucking movies, everything that I'm about to read should be taken with a grain of salt. And I'll explain why after I share with you all the information to give my thoughts on it. Because speculating on information that may or may not be true when it comes to fictional media is one of my specialties. Black Widow, The Eternals, Black Panther 2, ShangChi, Doctor Strange 2, Nova, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 are in active development, and there are plans for Thor 4, Ant-Man 3, Captain Marvel 2, New Avengers, Young Avengers, and Dark Avengers. All but 28% of this sounds accurate. Like, we already got confirmation of Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi, Guardians 3, and sequels for Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel at this point are pretty much already given. Thor 4 also sounds plausible, since it's been confirmed that Chris Hemsworth renegotiated his contract with Marvel in 2017 to include Phase 4 stuff, which, given the end of Endgame, we already know what one of those films are. But New Avengers? Young Avengers? Dark Avengers?
In a row?
Now, that's not to say that these can't happen. A Young Avengers movie is definitely in the cards considering the end of Endgame. Also, it'll be really nice to finally see Wiccan and Hulkling on screen. And if any of the information that I'm about to reveal has any merit to it, Dark Avengers is definitely possible. But I feel that New Avengers was technically the end of Age of Ultron and the beginning of Civil War, real talk? Because at this point in the MCU, any team that consists of characters that either aren't the founders or have never been on the team before can pretty much qualify as New Avengers. It's pretty much gonna be Avengers 5, but just with a new marketing strategy. Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, and Hawkeye are being developed for Disney+, but the characters will still be featured in the movies. The X-Men and the Fantastic Four, however, will not appear until Phase 4. In other news, Donald Trump supports white supremacy. You thought I was gonna say water is wet, didn't you? I gotta keep it fresh up in this bitch. Yeah, we pretty much knew that the Disney Plus shit was gonna affect the movie since they're being produced by Marvel Studios instead of Marvel Television this go around. Plus, that information has been officially shared with us a while back in the form of company contracts that are still active and interviews. Also, there are a lot of legit sources out there that tell us that unless they fast-track the shit like they did with Spider-Man for Civil War, we shouldn't really expect either the X-Men or the Fantastic Four in the next slate of movies. So yeah, this is a hybrid of common sense and read the article. There won't be another decade-spinning overarching storyline like the Infinity Saga, but there will be overarching mini-arcs spanning 3 to 6 films. If this is true, then this is a relief. I'll admit, the reason why I was so burned out regarding the Infinity Saga is because, as I have proven time and time again, I am not a fan of either Thanos or the Infinity Stones. And that's pretty much half of Jim Starlin's work. So I was less hype about the narrative as everyone else was, but I was too invested to not care about seeing how everything was going to end because everything was so interconnected. Would I change the tone of my tune if the Infinity Saga wasn't the main storyline? Probably, depending on the event that they based it on. But the possibility of Marvel Studios doing mini arcs in the form of trilogies and the like would definitely be a welcome change to Marvel Studios for me, especially since the trilogies that they've already done for their main franchises only really feel like third installments of a franchise instead of an actual trilogy or actual trilogies. Because to be honest, the only real trilogy that they've done so far is Avengers, with the next real one looking to be Guardians. Maybe I'll make a video about it later on down the line, but yeah, I'm kinda on board with the 3 to 6 film mini arcs for a while if this is true. There will be a clearer divide between grounded MCU and cosmic MCU going forward, each having their own core casts, specific tones, and overarching storylines. Not surprising if true, and it plays into the 3 to 6 film mini arc rumor as well. I can definitely see the next iteration of Guardians, Captain Marvel, and Eternals leading the way to whatever cosmic saga they have planned. And I would like to hope that ever since he got his directing job back, that also means that Marvel Studios is going to use whatever consulting James Gunn did for the cosmic side of the MCU before a convicted rapist came after his coin. Norman Osborn will be the main antagonist of the grounded MCU and is expected to appear in several movies provided Marvel and Sony renew their contract. And now you see why I said what I said about the Dark Avengers. So when I saw this in the list, I was like, oh. And honestly, I'd be down for this if this were real, at least until Marvel's ready to properly utilize Doctor Doom. Though personally I'd like to see him utilize as Green Goblin again before he becomes the Lex Luthor of the MCU like he's been utilized in the comics as of late. You know, just to help properly establish his connection with Spider-Man and the rest of the heroes in the MCU, as opposed to being this looming threat like Thanos that only a select amount of them knew about beforehand. It would definitely help the alleged Dark Avengers movie be a lot more entertaining. Chris Hemsworth renewed his contract for several more Marvel movies and is expected to appear in both Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Thor 4. In other news, corporations are not your friends. Chris Pratt also has several movies left in his contract and is expected to continue even though Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is intended as the team's final appearance in the MCU. That is the most surprising rumor so far. Like, I honestly hope that Volume 3 does some shit to help him justify him being a presence outside the group because Endgame did not help boost his approval ratings after Infinity War at all. Because I can see this happening just as much as I can't see this happening with another team. Yeah, sure, why not? By himself? Why? I know why, but still, why? Now, the next part of this post are rumors about the plot details, for the most part, about the films and Disney Plus shows that have been confirmed in one way or another involved in Phase 4. Which is funny, because the very first one is about Spider-Man Far From Home. So I'm just gonna skip that one. Mostly because it's about to be released in theaters and the rumors about it look pretty legit and I don't want to accidentally spoil the movie for anyone. But like I said before, take any and all of what I'm about to say with a grain of salt unless it's been proven otherwise in the past. Black Widow. Florence Pugh is introduced as Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow. I'm so happy for her. I'm sorry, I just don't care. The Eternals. Richard Madden is playing the main character Icarus. The Eternals will be pivotal to the cosmic MCU. In other news, planet Earth is on fucking fire. Black Panther 2. Killmonger will appear in the spiritual plane. Queen Divine Justice will be featured. Movie will be political. So I have a lot of thoughts where the sequel to Black Panther can go post-Endgame, especially since T'Challa's been away from his throne for 5 years. That's plenty of time for a revolution against the Wakandan monarchy to form, a la A Nation Under Our Feet by Ta-Nehisi Coates, democratic or otherwise. And I think that using Queen Divine Justice as the antagonistic figure using whatever revolts for her own personal means might make for an interesting story. But if this is the route that Ryan Coogler is going to go in, however, he needs to be very careful about how he handles this. I actually want to write an opinion piece about how a loose adaptation of Ta-Nehisi Coates' A Nation Under Our Feet is a great base for a sequel to Black Panther, especially after Endgame. But I want to get paid for it. So if anyone's watching this video that runs a website and wants to do that, my business email is in the about. ShangChi. The Mandarin is rumored to be Shang-Chi's father. This isn't the first time I've heard about this rumor. Nerdist News reported this a while back. I'll link the video on the screen for you. I will say that the reasoning for making Mandarin Shang-Chi's father in the MCU is definitely better than who he is in the comics, which is just the living embodiment of Asian racism. And while I did enjoy Iron Man 3 and wasn't as torn up about the twist regarding the Mandarin or the little retcon short they made to put the minds of the fan base at ease, it's kind of disheartening that Tony isn't around anymore to properly go toe-to-toe with his arch nemesis. But if any of this is true regarding the Shang-Chi movie, then I'm not necessarily mad at this decision. Doctor Strange 2. Christine Palmer, Wong, Mordo, and the Ancient One will appear. Lord Nightmare will be the villain. Mordo will be a complex, sympathetic antagonist like Loki. Clea and Brother Voodoo will be featured. Asian actresses eyed for Clea. Parts of the movie will be set in the 1980s. So we got confirmation from Scott Derrickson himself a long time ago via Twitter that Lord Nightmare will be the villain in Doctor Strange 2. The alleged decision for Baron Mordo, however, has me both relieved and worried. Because if this is true, then it'll mean that the MCU version of the character is no doubt going to be the best version of the character. But trying to make him like how they utilize Loki in the MCU feels like a bit of a cop-out. Honestly, I'll prefer him as a straight-up villain as opposed to the anti-hero route that they took Loki in. That's more Mordo's MO. Seeing Brother Voodoo would be awesome if this is true. And also, does that mean Clea's presence mean that I get to finally see a badass Dormammu? Finally? Because I would love to see a badass Dormammu for a change. I deserve it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The High Evolutionary will be the main villain and Rocket's creator. Rocket will fall in love with another of the High Evolutionary's experiments, Lylla. Drax will find out that his daughter is still alive. Star-Lord and Nebula will become closer as they search for Gamora. Thor will be in the movie and meet Beta Ray Bill, who might be another of the High Evolutionary's experiments. Quasar and Adam Warlock also rumored to appear, with Zac Efron reportedly eyed for Adam. So if you've seen my How I Would Have Done Thor Ragnarok video, you know that I have very strong feelings about one specific sentence that I just read. I was also visibly angry when I watched him forge Stormbreaker for himself in Infinity War, and my friends can testify to that shit. I was fucking fuming. So all I'm gonna say is that if any of this is true, then Thor just needs to forge his gold adamantine version of Mjolnir and give Bill back his fucking axe! Jesus fucking Christ! High Evolutionary as a villain makes sense. I kinda wanna see him being portrayed by Mark Hamill. If any of this is true, then he might even be the main cosmic villain for Phase 4, if you think about it. Why don't they care about Thor, man? Now, everything else on this list involves the 4 Disney Plus shows, and it pretty much reflects the news that we already know about them. Loki is about how he impacted humanity throughout history. Hawkeye is about him training Kate Bishop as his replacement while he's fighting the mob. Falcon and Winter Soldier is Sam's journey to becoming the true Captain America after the two have to fight a government-sanctioned one, more than likely either Nuke or the MCU equivalent of US Agent. And WandaVision is about her trying to bring back Vision completely and trying to live a normal life in the burbs, without the unwelcome eyes of her neighbors peeping her using her life-size vibrator. It's Vision I'm talking about, Vision. But as I said multiple times before, readers, unless I stated that certain things have been confirmed in the past, take any and all of the rumored info that I share with you here in this video with the smallest grain of salt that you can possibly imagine. Because while 2 rumors were shared to the internet before they made their way to this list, specifically the info regarding the sequel to Doctor Strange and Guardians Volume 3 by a quote-unquote Marvel insider that goes by the name Roger Wardell, not only is there no evidence that the rest of the rumors came from him, especially since he's gone on record via Twitter that they didn't, but he's been wrong before, specifically about the rumor that Doctor Strange was going to be introduced into the MCU through Thor the Dark World before getting his own movie. Also, this list of inside information regarding Phase 4 didn't originate on Reddit. It originated on 4chan. And while the link to the Reddit page is still up and running and properly links back to the 4chan post as its source, the 4chan post in question is nowhere to be fucking seen. So yes, readers, stuff that's been confirmed a while back aside, while I'm definitely having fun thinking about, speculating about, and raging about most of the stuff on this list, I'm not taking it seriously, and neither should you. As of June 18th, 2019, it has been confirmed that unlike DC Films, Marvel will have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con this year with a Hall H presentation, which helps further establish what was said about Phase 4 plans being revealed to the general public after Spider-Man Far From Home from Kevin Feige. Look, I warned you I was still gonna do it. I told you previously. Y'all motherfuckers need to listen to me. So if we want any official news about Phase 4 of the MCU, we're gonna have to wait until the weekend of July 19th, 2019. But until that comes, readers, your homework assignment for today. Write in the comments section below which supposed Phase 4 leak was your favorite, or your most rage-inducing, if that's even possible. Whichever one you decide to share, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can join my Patreon by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description box below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.